I have been a physical therapist for 12 years and a multiple sclerosis certified specialist for 10 years. And I can confidently say that 90% or more of my patients with multiple sclerosis that came to me because they wanted to improve their walking and their strength had a limitation in their balance, and they didn't realize how much their balance was affecting them. But when I asked specifically about their goals of improving walking, a lot of it boiled down to the fact that they didn't feel safe on one leg. They couldn't stand on one leg long enough to bring their other leg forward, and then they would get off balance. And that not only affected the quality of their walking, but the distance that they could walk and the speed that they could walk. So today I'm going to give you the same 4 exercises that I give all of my patients with MS who are looking to improve your walking, but specifically improving your balance when you're walking. And we're going to be doing them standing with a chair. It's so important that you use a surface that you feel is steady and sturdy and not going to tip over. The whole point of improving our balance is to do so in a safe place so that you can then feel safe doing it out in the real world. Let's dive right in. I've got 4 balance training exercises that you can do while holding on to a sturdy chair. Now, an extra one, let's start off with a bonus one, and that is picture yourself, close your eyes, picture yourself throughout your day. What are the moments throughout your day that you lose your balance? And I want you to picture that moment and envision yourself doing that thing as an exercise. And that's what we're going to be doing in these 4 exercises too. But the best exercise for you is going to be to put yourself in the same situation that you feel unsteady in throughout the day and do that in a safer way as an exercise. So a lot of my patients are working on walking. That's what we're going to be focusing on with these. And I first want to point out to you, when I'm walking and when you're walking, when we take a step forward, we're in this staggered stance. Not only that, we need to be able to shift our weight forward in order to bring this leg forward. And if we're going to be taking a step back, we need to shift our weight backwards, bringing us to our first important exercise for balance training, which is staggered stance weight shifting. So you're going to put one foot back and one foot forward. It's important that you feel comfortable here. You shouldn't have this big stance and feel unsteady. You should feel comfortable. If you don't, widen your stance. So we're not in a tandem stance, one foot in front of the other, a little bit wider. Once you feel comfortable, make sure you're holding onto your surface on one or both sides. Stand up tall, core is engaged, and you're going to slowly shift your weight forward onto this front leg, and then shift your weight back onto this leg. I'm going to do a few repetitions here so you can see what my legs and core look like from the front, but then I'm going to show you from the side so that you can see what my back leg is doing. Okay, so I'm shifting my weight forward, my heel is coming up, shifting my weight backwards. And one thing you can't see because my pants are a little bit looser today is when I'm coming forward, my knee is slightly bent. It is not locked or hyperextending. That's a really important piece to know when you're working on balance exercises and you have MS. If that's locking, don't put as much weight through that leg. If you can only put 70% of your weight through that leg before it locks, stop at 70%. And then come back. Move forward again, and then stop. We're trying to get strength in this leg so that it can tolerate more weight, but that takes time. Our quadricep muscles need to get stronger so that our leg won't shoot backwards. For 10 years, I've been helping people with multiple sclerosis. And what I've seen is that most people with MS have a desire to get stronger and walk better. But what they've tried hasn't worked. I've created a revolutionary program called The Missing Link specifically for people with MS, where I teach you how to strengthen your brain, your muscles, and the neural connection between the two, which is the key to seeing improvements in strength, walking, and everyday activities when you have MS. I put my right leg out to this side. Regular exercise often doesn't cut it.
But it's not just exercise. You'll experience the warmth of our supportive community, where every small victory is celebrated and every struggle is met with encouragement. Check the link in the show notes to learn more about the missing link and see if it's a good fit for you. Okay, let's dive back in.
Our next exercise is pretty similar, but a different direction. So this is going to be a side-to-side weight shifting. So your feet are a little bit wider than shoulder or hip width, and you're going to shift your weight sideways. So over to your right side, then back to the center, and over to the left side, and back to the center. Slow and steady. And as you're doing this, I want you focusing on how much body weight you're putting through each leg. Similar to the previous exercise, you don't want either knee hyperextending or locking or buckling. So only put as much weight as you can safely without anything negative happening. Only put that much onto that leg. Maybe you can put 50% on this leg and 70% over here, eventually working your way up to about 99% on one side and the other. Showing you from this side, just check out what my ankles are doing. When I go to my left, my right heel comes up. When I go to my right, my left heel comes up. Can you see that? Go to a slightly different angle. So this is side-to-side weight shifting. The reason this one is important is because while the staggered stance is extremely applicable for when we're walking, the side-to-side is extremely applicable to moments we find ourselves in throughout the day. If my countertop is over here and I want to grab my cup of tea or grab my plate that has food on it, I need to be able to shift my weight to the side. It's not just forward, backward that we need to shift our weight. So that's what this exercise can help with. The third exercise is standing on one leg. 60% of our walking, of our gait cycle, is spent on one leg. While one leg is moving through, the other leg is balancing so that you can move that leg through. Even if you're using a mobility aid, you're still standing on one leg for a good portion of your walking. So therefore, you need to be able to stand on one leg confidently for about 2 or 3 solid seconds in order to feel more confident in your walking. The way that I like to work on single leg balance or standing on one leg is a very functional way. Some physical therapists that you work with might just say, okay, stand on one leg, and you just lift one leg up. That's a fine, traditional, regular exercise. But with MS, we want to be as functional as possible so that your brain understands in which daily life situations you want to use this exercise that you're practicing. And the way to do that for this is to incorporate it with our staggered stance balance. So from here, back to this first exercise that we did, you're in a staggered stance and you're going to shift your weight forward, but this time you're going to lift this leg up in whatever way you can. If that's by bending your knee, great. If it's by lifting your leg using your glute muscles, great. If it's out to this side, it doesn't matter how you're getting it up off the floor, but you're shifting your weight forward, making sure your knee doesn't lock if possible, and stand on one leg for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then come back. The reason that this is a much better exercise when you have MS is because this is the exact situation that you need balance in when you're walking. Every step I take, I need to stand on one leg here. I need to shift my weight, stand on one leg. So we're just replicating the exact situation that you need to have balance in. Whereas how often throughout the day do you find yourself standing like this and needing to lift one leg up? Not too often. Maybe if you're getting dressed or putting shoes on, standing, but even then you could be leaning against a wall. So it's a much more functional exercise if your goal is to improve walking, to add it with this staggered stance weight shift using support, of course. The final balance exercise that I want to share with you that can be extremely important if you lose your balance when you're turning around is to practice turning with your sturdy surface of a chair. So I'm going to start facing you and my feet are about hip or shoulder distance apart. I'm touching my chair for safety and I'm just going to slowly turn by taking lots of little steps to this side. Once I'm here, I'm going to turn back to you. So this is more dynamic balance instead of just practicing shifting our weight or standing on one leg. We are moving, we're taking steps as we're trying to balance. Now, with all of these exercises, the way to progress or advance the exercise is to hold on to the surface less. So I want you to be focusing during all these exercises on how much body weight you feel you're putting through your support. I want you to picture a body weight scale that you'd normally step on to see how much you weigh. Picture a miniature version in your palm. And your palm is putting your weight, you're putting your body weight through your palm onto the chair. What percentage would that scale say? 80%? Are you putting a lot of weight? Maybe 50%? Whatever it is, there's no right or wrong. But as you're doing these exercises, the way that you would advance it first would be to put less weight. So if at first you're putting 60% weight through that hand, then once you're feeling more confident, try to put 50% weight, and then 30%, 20, and you're working your way down to eventually hovering. And then eventually it's still there, but it's just a little further away. As we all know, it can take some time to improve your strength and balance when you have MS. But what I will share is that the majority of my patients who start doing these balance exercises early on in their routine start to see improvements within about 6 to 10 weeks, which, considering MS is involved, is really fast. And some people even start to notice improvements within the first week. Again, everyone is different, but I think it's important to first and foremost understand what specifically about your walking is hard. And if your answer includes balancing, if I walk too slow, it's too hard, I can't balance as I'm walking, I feel unsteady, then the second thing is knowing which exercises are most effective considering you have MS. Exercise should be different when you have MS. Needs to be more functional, needs to focus more on neuroplasticity. And then the third thing is do those exercises, and not just in your exercise time of your day, but implement them throughout your day. As you're walking throughout the day, when you're in a safe setting, practice that weight shifting exercise. Practice going a little slower so that you have to stand on one leg a little bit longer. I am so certain that these exercises can help, just because I've had so many missing link members report that they thought these specific ones were the biggest game changers that help them improve their quality of walking and walking longer distances. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, make sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and comment below to let me know what you thought. And if you're loving this concept of functional exercise and retraining your brain to get stronger with MS, I have so many resources for you at my website. I'll put the link down in the show notes for you to check them out.